How you doing? This is Scott from FantasyAces.com. Ready to talk about our Week 6 matchups. First things first, Bills, Steelers, Titans, and Chiefs all off this week, so get those players out of your lineups. Let's talk about the 1 o'clock games. We have the Dolphins against the Texans. Dolphins, Ronnie Brown's the man here. Ricky Williams coming in, change of pace, but otherwise it's Ronnie Brown's show. Pennington, very effective, seems to be having a good completion percentage, doing a nice job finding his wide receivers, Dinkin and Duncan. Looking at the Texans, we have Slayton, who's turned into an absolute stud over there. Amon Green did get double-digit carries to help him out. Maybe he won't hit the rookie wall. Shaw will be back this week with his connection to Andre Johnson, should be effective. Looking at the Ravens and the Colts. Ravens, tough defense, their offense. Flacco seems to like Mason. Looking in the backfield, we've got McGahee and we got McClain sharing some time. McGahee seems to be getting a little bit healthier. Once he is, I think he takes the main share there. Looking at the Colts, you've got, basically everybody's normally playable, but this is a tough matchup, so a die could have a tough day. Manning might have to rely more on the passing game with Clark and Harrison and Reggie Wayne, but even that might be a tough go. Let's look at the Bengals and the Jets. Chris Perry losing touches here. Cedric Benson, he's fumbling all over the place. However, Carson Palmer in that passing game with Houshmandzadeh and Chad Johnson might start to heat up a little bit. Chris Henry might see some of him and Chapman as well. But they look like they're waiting to explode. Play solidly against the Giants and the Cowboys last weeks that they've played, and we'll see if they're ready to go. Looking at the Jets, Brett Favre chucking it all over the place with Coles and Cotchery. Even Dustin Keller's getting involved. Thomas Jones, talking about him losing a little bit of his step, so we're going to see more of Leon Washington taking some of his carries as well. Looking at the Raiders and the Saints, Jamarcus Russell surprisingly has some fantasy value, and so does tight end Zach Miller. He's been going to him. He had a big game before the bye week. McFadden's banged up. Going to see him sharing time with Fargas, who was banged up and is coming back. So we'll see how effective they can be going up against the surprisingly strong defense of the Saints all of a sudden. Saints got a lot of guys there to start. Everybody on that team, roll them out there, even though they're missing some players like Shockey and Colston. They're doing a fine job. Bears against the Falcons. Bears again, Forte is a stud. I mean, you're looking at, top 10, top, 5 running back. Orton's even putting up some great numbers, finding Rashid Davis. Greg Olson's been looking good as well. Looking at the Falcons, Michael Turner, another great draft this year for him in terms of picking him up for fantasy owners who got him a little bit later. Matt Ryan's running the offense really well, finding Roddy White all over the field. Looking at the Lions and the Vikings, we'll see if Kitna can get out there. I don't know, he's a little banged up. We have Rudy Johnson and Kevin Smith sharing in the backfield. We still have Roy and Calvin on the outside. We'll see how effective they can be. The Lions are up and down. The Vikings, who the guys are here. I mean, Farrat's come in and made this team, go a little bit better than they were before. We've got Adrian Peterson out of the backfield, very effective, and Berrien's finally on the fantasy radar, catching some passes and scoring and having some nice yardage last week. Let's look at the Panthers and the Bucks. This is going to be a tough game. It's a divisional game. You've got yourself the lone trying to get the ball downfield to Muhammad and Smith. You've got the two-headed attack out of the backfield with D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Williams had a big week last week. It could be Stewart this week. You never know. The Bucks, again, they have a two-headed attack of their own out of the backfield with Graham and Dunn. Jeff Garcia might be getting a start this week. He'll be looking for Antonio Bryan, maybe Alex Smith. Clayton seems to be getting a little bit more involved. We have the Rams and Redskins, the last 1 o'clock game. Steven Jackson's the main man there. Bulger's back under center. Be throwing it to Torrey Holt. Let's look across the Redskins. They'll be home. Clinton Portis is a stud and should maybe the top running back of the week now for this week because he's got such a great matchup. Campbell looks like a real NFL quarterback recently. He's got Cooley out there. Santana Moss had no catches last week. He should make a return this week. Look at the 4 o'clock games. You have the Jaguars and the Broncos. MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew's a little banged up, so Freddie T might carry more of the load. We'll see how that goes throughout the week. Garrard finding targets like Matt Jones still out there. Walker was involved last week and previous weeks, but he may have a knee issue. We'll see how that works out. The Broncos, Jay Cutler, Brandon Marshall. Eddie Royal may be banged up. We'll see if he's able to give it a go. If not, we're looking at more of Stokely and Darrell Jackson. Out of the backfield, Selvin Young is out, so we're going to see more of Pittman and Hall, and as well as Scheffler's out, so we're going to see Nate Jackson and Daniel Graham at tight end. Let's take a look at the Packers and the Seahawks. Ryan Grant's been a bit of a disappointment this year. Brandon Jackson's more involved. We'll see if Ryan Grant can get it going here. He's got a nice matchup with the Seahawks. Rodgers still has a shoulder issue, but he played through it last week and had a nice game. So I expected more this week with Jennings and Driver out there and Donald Lee at tight end. You've got the Seahawks on the other side. You get Maurice Morris back to share the carries with Julius Jones. Hasselbeck finally has Ingram back, which is really helping him out big time. And Ingram had a nice game coming back for the first week. Looking at the Cowboys and the Cardinals, the Cowboys play everybody. I know it's a good matchup, so everybody's playable there. Don't have time to talk about them. Let's look at the Cardinals. Again, Kurt Warner, top 5 quarterback, throwing it to Fitzgerald, who's a phenomenal wide receiver, and Breston filling in for Bolden. In the backfield, you've got Edge and Timothy Hightower sharing carries, both playable as well. You have the Eagles and the 49ers, the last 4 o'clock game. Eagles, McNabb, great player, great fantasy player. He's been a little down these last couple of weeks, but I expect him to make a return here. Westbrook's got some cracked ribs, so Buck Halter's going to be getting some more carries there. Deshaun Jackson, Reggie Brown have been looking good. Reggie Brown's got a little bit of a groin thing, so we're going to see if he can give it a go. Looking across at the 49ers, Frank Gore's a stud. Whether to run the ball or receiving out of the backfield, J.T. O'Sullivan will be looking for his targets, and Brian Johnson out there. We'll see if how that matchup goes for them. The 49ers are home. Looking at the Sunday night game, we have the Patriots against the Chargers. It's going to be a great game because these two teams do not like each other. Matt Castle finally found Randy Moss deep down the field. He always finds Welker across the middle and things like that, so that should continue to go. That backfield's a mess, though. At least Lamont Jordan went out last week and is banged up, so we're down to Sammy Morris, Kevin Falk, and Maroney, who just doesn't seem to, can't seem to get it together. Looking at the Chargers, LaDainian Tomlinson in a toe just won't be right all year, I don't think. So Sproles will be involved. Chambers is probably going to be out this week. So we're looking for Rivers to end up going to Buster Davis. Looking for him to go more to Gates, maybe to Sproles on the outside. And Vincent Jackson will end up being the number 1 wide receiver if Chambers is out. Looking at the last match of the week, for the Monday Night Football game, we have the some say the best football team in the league right now. We've got the Giants going up against the Browns. The Giants should pound on these guys. Defense is solid, and we've got Manning throwing it all over the place. And he has Burris back this week. So Jacobs looked great out of the backfield, sharing a little bit with Derek Ward. So this is a great team. They're looking very solid. Looking at the Browns, we'll see how they are coming off the bye week. Anderson at quarterback kind of played a little better before the bye. Jamal Lewis run the ball, could find it rough going. Braylon Edwards, hold on to the ball, kiddo. You can put up some nice numbers, but hasn't been doing that. And Kellen Winslow at tight end should put up some numbers here for Anderson over the middle. So those are our matchups for the week and what we feel what's going to happen. So we'll see you for week 7.